I couldn't get a game in anywhere on the 2v2 game because there was just no one playing, so I had to play 1v1, and I got this game here where my opponent was slightly favored, and I think Smirnoff probably plays a little bit more 1v1 than I do. You can see the economy breakdown and the units and our build order and the graphs. Actually, it'll be interesting to have a quick look at the graphs here. Army value pretty much even through the whole game, and then just at the very end I just got his army, so there you go. And resource collection rate up and down throughout the game. We did take out each other's base from time to time, so I'll show you the replay and we'll see what we can see. I haven't actually watched this replay. I've just come in from the game, so let's load that up and have a look and see what happens. So yeah, it was a pretty long game, 44-minute game. I can't imagine anyone's actually going to watch this screencast because it's just such a long game, and we're such noob players, and I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be really that exciting, but it is a pretty fun game, I think. I guess it's always fun watching noobs battle it out and making mistakes and just fighting each other to the death. So this is Smirnoff over here, the red Terran, and I'm over here. I'm the blue Terran. And I'm Mini, of course, and there's our greetings. Good luck, have fun. I don't think we had much to say to each other. So obviously, start of the game, we're just getting our economies online. I've got my scout out. I think you press Control Shift F. Yeah. Actually, it's all lagging now. What's up with the lag? Oh, there we go. Yeah, that worked. So you can press Control Shift F to follow a unit, and that seems to work in the replay as well. That's pretty cool. Oh, he does send out a scout. Is he? What's he doing? Oh no, I think he must be building his wall. So he was obviously in the first base I scouted, and that's always good when that happens. So my scout arrived here, and I sort of figured out that he was there pretty quickly, and my scout was on the way home, and then I decided to do a lap around his base. I always set some rally points around the back of the mineral line just to see how things are progressing, whether he's got his gas out yet or diagonal, but there we go. So he's got his scout out. Back at my base, I just put my supply depot down over here. I didn't bother with the wall. I'm new to 1v1, so I don't really know the 1v1 maps very well, and I sort of thought it didn't seem like a really great place to wall in. And what's the point of walling in against Terran anyway? So I just I just built my supply depot at home. And once I scouted him, I just sent my scout back home. So he's on his way back home to do some mining. And Smirnoff is setting up his wall, and he's still scouting. And yeah, economies are just coming online. I've got my barracks going down, and Smirnoff has his barracks going down. He's got his gas up. I don't think I go for gas too early. Oh, there we go. I've got one gas. My strategy this game was just to build a lot of Marines early, and try and put on some early pressure with the Marines, although things didn't really work out that well. So here comes the scout. He's seen me, and he just moves it out of the way in time. I thought he was going to go through my mineral line, and I attacked him, but he didn't come in, which was lucky for him. So he lives to suck another day. Second barracks down for me. Smirnoff has got his wall set up. He's got his Marines camping out the front there, going for his second gas. I got my second barracks there. Just laying down my supply depots here next to my gas. I'm going for my orbital command now. Smirnoff already has his orbital command. Still only one barracks from Smirnoff. So I guess maybe I should have rushed him, I don't know. I got 2 barracks up now, going for my third. 2 Marines out. I think Smirnoff has 2 Marines out as well. He's sending maybe some early pressure there. Going with his factory. So he's gone 1 racks, 1 factory. I haven't watched this replay, as I said. I mean, I played the game, but I really don't know what he did. I do know he had a lot of siege tanks, and I didn't go siege tanks really until very late in the game, and even then I didn't really get very many, so I wasn't using siege tech. He was, and it was pretty effective, as you'll see later in the game. So that Marine's just come out here to grab the watchtower. He's got a couple of Marines back in his base. My Marine count is obviously growing because I'm just pumping out Marines now. And SCVs, of course, trying to get my economy online, building out my supply depots. I do get supply blocked once or twice through the game, but usually I was pretty good on the supply depots. So he's got 4 Marines. He's got his orbital command down. He's got the watchtower. I really should have just attacked him. But still, you know, who's to know, really? Who's to know? So I was waiting for my my medivacs before I sent out my my attack. So still building my economy down here. Putting down a reactor and 2 tech labs. I've got a few forces there, so I'm just doing some work on my infrastructure. So that's not a bad build from the barracks, the factory, the starport. I think I'm pretty sure he drops into my base early on in the game. So his economy's going well. He's got his second barracks going down. I've just got down my factory now. Still churning out Marines. I got 1 Marauder there too. I couldn't help it. I like to have a couple of Marauders. But yeah, mostly I was focusing on Marines. I wanted to save my gas for air. I've kind of been thinking of this build lately where I'll go and spend all of my use the Marines as what they call a mineral sink, and just sink my minerals into lots and lots of Marines, and then save my gas for building a Starfleet, you know. So I was thinking Marines, air, you know, that's kind of how I was thinking. So lots of Marines from me early on. So, oh, here we come. Here comes the drop. So we got 1 drop ship from Smirnoff, and it's just on its way in now. Over it comes. Oh gee, it's gone pretty far. Okay. So in he comes. And I guess he probably does a bit of damage. I didn't see it straight away. So down, starting to do a fair bit of damage to my SCVs. I get my SCVs out of the way. I got my Marines coming in. I focused down on his medivac so that he can't evacuate. And then just take out his drop. And I've got my starport up now, so I'll have some medivacs to heal those Marines soon. So I get back to work pretty quickly, and you know, that drop was a little bit of a hindrance, but it wasn't a huge deal. He sent his medevac home, but with no units in it. They all got taken out. So he's online. He's just getting siege tech at the moment. What's he doing with those SCVs? I'm not sure. He's got a couple of extra barracks since we last had a look. There we go. He's built his command center and it's just sending it over for his natural. So opening the door, moving his troops out. Not a bad start from Smirnoff. He's got the drop on me. My Marines are at home. I didn't lose many of them, but they're not in good health. So just pumping out some medivacs. I stay on 3 racks for a while. In fact, maybe really for the whole game. At the end of the game, I actually churn out a whole lot of barracks, but yeah, I was just on 3 to start with here. I probably could have done a few more, but I did have a reactor, and I was just going for Marines, so I'm churning out the stim and the combat shield upgrades, and the concussive shells as well for my Marauder. I think I have one more Marauder. So still building SCVs to sort of recover from that drop. Here comes the next drop. So he's left the siege tank at home. That was probably a good idea, because that, when I come over later, that gives me the creeps. It spooks me and I back off, because I don't like running into siege tanks. So this is a pretty big drop inbound now. It's actually a pretty good map for doing drops, I guess. It's a pretty big map, so yeah, the medivacs make your army fairly mobile. I haven't seen him yet. In he comes, there he goes. So, doing a fair bit of damage to my supply depots. Down I come. He's got a siege tank in there this time. Not really very good positioning from me, you know, but I do massively outnumber him, so I'm just fighting my way through, and there we go. In on the siege tank. Take out the tank, and I don't think he gets any of those medivacs away. Yeah, so his drop wasn't really very successful. He got one of my supply depots that was under construction. I think I actually lose this one. I'm not sure whether... There we go. Just too late. So I did try, but I'm on my way now, because of course I had a pretty convincing win after that drop. So I'm feeling pretty confident. I mean, my Marines aren't in tip-top shape, and my medivacs don't have any energy. But in I come, and then of course I run into these tanks, and I just think, no way am I going in there. So I just backed right off. You know, I was going in for a fight, but I thought, no, he's got the tanks. So I wanted to go for a drop, but I obviously couldn't drop on top of all of those Marines. And here we go. SCV's in to deal with me too, so I guess I really clean up on this drop. I would be doing a lot of damage in there. Got all of those Marines. Those tanks go up. I should have backed out away from the tanks faster than I did. But the tanks the tanks start going at me, and I realize the tanks are there eventually. It takes me a while, but then I back up at the moment. He hasn't got much. He's got a few tanks. He's sent his SCVs over to his expansion, and he's just backing out his orbital command. So I've got some units in there, and I'm doing a little bit of damage, but you know, I really don't have enough to do much, so I think I just decide to hightail it out of there. So yeah, I'm gone. I'm not sure where I send these guys. I think I just go for a bit of a scout. So he's got his orbital command off somewhere. I'm not sure what's going on there. Couple of Marines over here. Marines all over the place. Most of his tanks back amongst his barracks. So I've got another drop on the way. Just another. Well, it's Marine Marauder. You can see there's a few Marauders in there, taking up 2 slots. So I guess I've transitioned into a bit of a Marine Marauder build. Probably not a bad build, especially given that there's all those tanks. So I just drop on top of his tanks here and try and do a bit of damage. I've got one dropship there that didn't unload its units, which is really not cool. If I had have got all my units down faster, I think I would have done better. But there we go. Got a couple of his tanks, so can't really complain about that. And get out of there with one of my dropships. But I don't know how effective that drop was, really. Anyway, I've snuck off up here to put in my second base. And these guys have just done a lap of the map. You can see all the way around the whole map, just to try and see if he snuck in any expansions or whatever. So he's got a few Marines doing some sort of reconnaissance out here. His expansion's going gangbusters. He's got a little bit of, well, that's not very much economic activity back in his main. A couple of Marines taking down the rocks at this expansion over here. That's going to take a long time. So he's pretty much Marine tank. He does have the odd dropship as well, so there he goes. He's just building 2 more dropships. I'm getting my expo happening up here. I'm still doing the same. Marine Marauder, Medivac build. I haven't researched siege tech yet, so I'm just sick of these drops. I want to get up some towers, but I'm not sure if I actually managed to do that in time. So I've got a lot of Medivacs there and a fair few units. I'm on 3 barracks, just churning out the Marine Marauder. Got this expo operational, so we're both on 2 bases now. He's finally got his main back in operation. Pretty sizable force there at his main. SCV repairing that old Medivac. So this isn't uncommon. We're both, got the same amount of time. So he's got more barracks than I do. That's five racks. I scan him because I want to know if there's any towers that have gone down to stop my drops. So he's coming through for an attack. I'm loading up for a drop. So this is actually pretty funny. He's just here. I don't see him, and then off I go, and we just miss each other. So he's rallied out the front of my base, and I've just sent my drop. So in he comes. And I've got my drop on the way over here, and he's arrived at my base. So I just lift off because I kind of figure I'm just about to drop on his base. His army is in my base, so I'm pretty much resigned to losing everything that I have over here. So I just take all of my infrastructure and move it straight over to his base, because I figure I've got my drop coming down here. I'll just clear out his base, and because I've got all of my infrastructure on the way to his base, by the time by the time it gets there, he's doing a little bit of damage back in my base, sort of getting through my stuff. I was to stop the drops. Yeah, and I just left some of my stuff intact. My buildings have all started to arrive at his base, so he's finally figured out that he should fly some of his kit away. He's got his starport out of there, but I don't know why he didn't take his other buildings. I guess he just really wasn't switched on. He's got his SCVs running away. He's got his orbital command running away. He's got another orbital command over here. I'm not sure where that's destined. So he's just sort of securing this mineral deposit here. I guess he decides he's going to go and clean up the rest of my base. I just finish off his base. So I've completely cleared out his base, and I just resettle where he was. And he comes through and starts taking out all of my stuff. He managed to save a starport just here. So his army's in pretty good shape. You know, it's just Marines. I'm not sure where his tanks. He's got one tank there. So he's going to park his orbital command over here in this little mineral deposit. So he stays here to guard his new expansion. He's got his SCVs just hanging around in this base over here. I've still got a few supply depots and stuff hanging around. He's got a medivac there that he's not using. So I've sort of got an economy happening back down here. I'm supply blocked now. As you can see, I've lost all my supply depots, so we're both supply blocked. It's all been a little bit messy. His orbital command's floating around up here. He's got some Marines down here. So he's just getting his economy back online over here. He's got a starport. Starting to lay down some supply depots, which he obviously desperately needs. My forces are just guarding the front of the base. I start to put my expansions back on my buildings. I've finally managed to get down a few more supply depots. I got some supply depots coming along down here as well. So still got my infrastructure. I managed to save all of my buildings that could fly. So he's just re-establishing himself over here. He's got a tank. The tank makes me nervous. I really don't like running into that tank, so I steer clear of him for quite a while. I obviously couldn't do a drop on him here at the moment, except if I came in from behind. He does sort of spot this expansion I've got happening up the top right, the top left, and yeah, I've got, there we go, I've got a drop as well, just it's being sent the long way around the map. So he's got a drop happening, I've got two drop ships happening, he's got an orbital command up here that he's gonna place up here. There we go. So he comes in to drop at my base, takes out a couple of my SCVs. I sort of see it and just back up to the planetary fortress, and of course he can't do much against the planetary fortress, but it's a little bit of stalemate because I can't mine. So here comes my drop in response. His forces are all over here, so my forces land and take out a lot of his economy. I stim, doing plenty of damage. I'm pretty pleased with that drop. So he stims and runs in. We have a little bit of a fight. Obviously he'll get me, but not before I take out all of his SCVs. and I managed to pack up and run away. So I got one dropship of troops back out, which I'm pretty happy with. I think that was a good idea to save those guys rather than just fight to the death down there. So I send this particular dropship back up here to clear out this drop that he's got happening at my expo. So there we go. He comes to engage again. Take out his units there. So his dropship got away, but what are you gonna do? So I can get my units back to work there. I expect I'll do that in a minute. There we go. So mining operations established again. I'm not sure where my forces are at the moment. Down here. So I've just been sort of dropping randomly around the map trying to figure out, because I kind of thought that he would have had more expansions. I don't know that I've scouted this one up the top here yet. So I drop down there, and I pack up and I move out. At some point I actually forget that I have these 3 dropships full of dudes, and I find them at an opportune point in the game much later, so they kind of get away from me there for a little bit. So he's come up to defend another drop on his economy. Pretty tight defense in there. He's building some of these banshees, which create a bit of a problem for me because I don't have enough towers down. His marines here eventually got through those rocks, so I drop up here, and of course they're not there either, so you know, I pack up again. And then I think maybe this is just where I leave those guys. I'm not sure that I do anything with them for a while, so I might actually miss that. I think they sit there for a long time. I guess I get occupied with something else. I'm not sure what I'm working on at the moment. I've got an expo going down over there. I'm supply blocked. I spent so much time supply blocked. So he's scanned me to see what's going on through my economy back at my new main. So here he goes with his banshees. Oh no. No, he does seem to be getting those ready. I'm pretty sure that's the next thing that happens in this game. There he goes. So Banshee's got a fair bit of energy. And then in he comes Cloaks. And starts going for my economy. And what am I going to do? I haven't got any. When they arrive, they really just get shot at for a bit. I wanted to scan. You can see me selecting my building to scan, and I realized I should just hightail it out of there. So I run away again, and he comes back, just picking on my economy. Yeah, I lift off so that he can't take my buildings. Eventually I build a Raven. I realize this is going to be a problem for me in the game. So there we go. I build a Raven now at my starport. And he's got 2 Banshees in my base just doing a little bit of damage. But really 2 Banshees, I mean they hurt, and he got a few buildings, but I can just ignore that for now. My forces up here. I've still got these guys over here, which I've totally forgotten about. This expansion up here is healthy. No gas though. I should have built some gas out there. He's got another expo up here, which is doing pretty well. So his Banshee's still just churning through my infrastructure. He got a tech lab there. Eventually my Raven comes online, so my Raven's still building there at the starport. So Banshees have done a fair bit of damage back in the main. I just switched to building Marines when this happens, so I've got all my So the Banshee's back up. I'm not sure why they came back. That was pretty stupid. He should have just run away with those and let them recharge their energy. Oh, there he goes. So he does get out with his Banshees. But at least they're not doing any damage to my home base anymore. I'm back at my front. What are you going to do? So he's got some units happening up here. His Banshees are just hanging out up here. His economy's going alright down here. His defense is pretty much as it was. I think he spent a lot of time supply blocked, really. But his supply is sort of okay at the moment. He's got a few forces spread out through 2 bases. Most of my forces are here, I thought, because I'd completely forgotten about these guys over here. I just didn't remember I had them. So it's really fun much later in the game when I remember that I've got those. This economy is still sort of trundling along. You can see me scanning here and just really trying to check out where he is on the map. So I found this base. So I send out my units, and I'm just going to go and take out that expansion of his. So my units are on the way up to take out his second expo. And my economy is booming down here. I haven't got any gas there though. I haven't done anything back at my main to recover from those Banshees. This economy is kicking along okay, but still no gas at that economy either. So in I come. He really hasn't got enough to address this at all. I stem. He dies. And I just churn through this. He's got some forces down here, it looks like, so I'm not sure what he's going to do with those. So he manages to take his orbital command out. It would be a good time for him to attack, so he knows that, and he does. So in he comes to attack my base. I haven't got much there to defend that, so he just churns through my defenses there. It off. I just throw all of my SCVs on it to repair it because it's really getting hammered, and it nearly dies, but I just repair, and just as it gets away, it's just got enough health to sort of get across the line. So those SCVs are obviously toast. I think I end up losing that orbital command. So I've taken out his expansion and my forces are up there. He's in my main now. So he just comes through. I think I send my buildings away again. I'm not sure what I'm doing here. All my units are still producing. I've got a bad... So he's obviously doing a fair bit of damage to my base. I'm responding up here, I'm moving down, but he's just churning through this base. There we go, I finally decide to lift off. I'm not sure if they survive or not. I got my orbital command away a bit earlier, so it's away up there. But he's got 2 Marines up there. Obviously I'm going to lose that barracks. One of the barracks might be okay. I'm not sure where it goes. It's good he hasn't come back for my supply depots just yet. I landed this over here, but I just land I go to land a mule to repair it, and it just burns out. So I did a good job saving that at first. There we go. I select it. I go to drop the mule, and it just falls apart on me. So I lose that there. This guy's landed over here, and he's got a banshee following me up here. So wherever I send that, he's gonna know about it. He's got his main forces churning through my supply depots up here. I have what I'm gonna do with that. He's got an orbital command which escaped from the top up here, so I got a dropship coming down here. His Banshee has gone somewhere else. I'm not sure. Oh, he's got a couple of Banshees there in the middle of the map. So there we go. I get away with another drop on his economy because he's moved all his forces out to be aggressive. So that's pretty handy there for me. I see him land over here, and it's because I see this little red dot, I realize that he's landed here, and eventually I unload those troops. So he cleaned up my attack there. That was pretty good. At some point I'm going to realize this is here, and that I have these three dropships full of units. There we go. So that orbital command is toast, and I'm pretty happy to have discovered all of these units. He's sending SCVs around, or he was, but he's sent them back. So I've hightailed it out of there. I just took these units. He's come over to engage me. And I'm glad, because I didn't have my Raven down there, so that Banshee could have done some damage. And my dropship has just taken these units off to rejoin my main army. And I've just consolidated my forces up here. Those two Marines have done their job polishing off that orbital command that was down there. His forces have finished clearing out my supply depots down here. I've got a barracks that I've forgotten about. I've got my main forces now, and I've just decided to come through and take out his main expansion. So I see those SCVs traveling through there, and I chase them down. So that was an unexpected detour, but I take it. Because I've got my Raven, that's pretty handy when I run into these Banshees. I think the Banshees do cloak. They haven't yet. There they go, cloaked Banshees, but I've got the Raven, so they don't live, and take out all of his forces, which is pretty good. So I cleared out that area there. His forces are now responding. He knows he's got to get back to his expansion, but I don't know how much time he really has. I'm coming around. Pardon me. I'm coming around the corner here. So I was still a little bit freaked out about running into some tanks or something like that, but there's no tanks. I just attack along the side. There we go. I stim and just start chewing through his units. And his forces are way behind. And I get into his infrastructure a little bit, and there we go. There his army starts to arrive, and my army's in pretty good shape. So I come back, engage his units. He stims, but not very effective use of his Marines, and I'm clearly going to win this battle. So that takes out pretty much all of his units. He's got that little siege tank that goes up there. I spot that and take that out as soon as I see it, because siege tanks make me nervous. And then he GG's out of the game pretty much here, because what's he going to do? So I just start coming in through his infrastructure. Oh, look, he thinks about running away. He thinks about it. And I take out everything that he's got left. And there's the GG. And that's it. So that's Noob Wars. That's a long protracted 1v1 game. Plenty of action. We jumped from, well, my base went from here to here to here. As you can see, I mean, I forgot to point this out, but I did get these barracks and these supply depots up. I was putting another expansion down up here. So I'd really just commandeered this part of the map. I had a whole lot of forces building down here. My orbital command up here saved my bacon a few times. In fact, I'm pretty sure during the replay I must have missed at least one drop where he dropped in up here and the orbital command took him out. So bit disappointed I missed that, but that orbital command, sorry, that planetary fortress was real useful. It really was necessary to have that to defend this area, because I was at one point just stuck up here without any army, and it needed to hold the fort for a while. So yeah, from here to there to here, a very long game. He started here, ended up here. He had an expansion out here, but it got taken out. And obviously at this point of the game, he was just toast. He had a lot of money, so really he just made a mistake not building enough units, and didn't have a strong enough army to engage me. I eventually got my economy back on track, and my army was pretty healthy. I had a lot of reinforcements up here that I didn't even send down, because I didn't need to. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.